the world's strongest man, the Terminator, the superstar that became governor. Arnold Schwarzenegger's story is unique, intriguing, and entertaining. If his life were made into a movie, no one would believe everything he's lived through is true. But don't worry, that's why we decided to create this episode to tell the journey of our real-life hero. So grab your popcorn and come along with us. Little Arnold, before the big muscles, was born in 1947 in a countryside and poor region of Austria, where the lack of food plagued his small hometown, and many residents suffered from hunger. Besides being from a simple and humble region with little access to basic necessities, Arnold grew up without even running water at home, and thus didn't know what a shower was until he turned 15. The son of a strict policeman, Arnold's childhood was marked by rigorous discipline, both at home and at school. The environment in which he grew up didn't offer much space for grand dreams. His father was a man of strict principles who valued order and physical effort. Therefore, Arnold needed to wake up early, face the cold to walk to his school, do household chores, and fulfill all his duties without failure. When something was not properly obeyed, his father would hit him and his brother, using a leather belt to beat them and apply severe punishments, which would include strenuous tasks or food restrictions. Arnold also revealed that during many nights his father would yell at 3 in the morning, and he and his brother would wake up scared with their hearts racing, not knowing what was happening. His father was authoritarian, and alcohol consumption contributed to harsher and more abusive behavior at home. Arnold's father, Gustav Schwarzenegger, was a Nazi soldier, and as he belonged to Hitler's army, he participated in German invasion of Poland, and also in the famous Battle of Stalingrad, and the traumas of war haunted his mind until his last days. Despite all this, his father also recognized the importance of physical training to raise strong sons prepared to overcome any difficulty. Thanks to his military background, he used to encourage his sons to practice sports. Therefore, football was Arnold's first sporting love. It was through football that he had his first strength training, as his coach incorporated weightlifting exercises into the team's training to improve the player's physical condition. This was an important step that sparked Arnold's interest in bodybuilding. But the real leap in his life occurred when he visited a local gym for the first time. He was immediately captivated by the environment, the intensity of the training, and the possibilities that bodybuilding presented. Arnold saw in bodybuilding not just a sport, but an art that allowed the transformation and refinement of the human body. It was at that moment he decided to dedicate his life to bodybuilding. Curiously, his father disapproved of bodybuilding, not considering it a sport, and he couldn't stand to see those muscle-bound men shirtless, flaunting tiny briefs, always together in the same space. But this didn't stop Arnold from dedicating himself to training and starting an intensive program with Kurt Marmol, Mr. Austria. Influenced by Hollywood's films and the American culture broadcast on TV from a young age, he dreamed of going to the United States and becoming a bodybuilding champion or a movie star. And believe it or not, he achieved both goals. But don't think it happened overnight. At 17, Arnold began competing in bodybuilding and receiving awards. However, in 1965, his dream had to be interrupted. He was called up to serve in the Austrian army and follow the strict code of conduct of the armed forces. But no one can stop a determined person, right? Even though it was forbidden, Arnold continued his bodybuilding training in the barracks, and when discovered, he spent a week in prison. At 18, he had the courage to escape from the army to participate in his first international competition, and despite the risk of this action, he was crowned the junior champion of Mr. Europe in Germany. After this, Arnold began to attract the attention of the bodybuilding world and gain fame on the stages. By 1967, at 20, he became the youngest athlete to win Mr. Universe in London. Despite these great achievements, Schwarzenegger's main goal was to become the world's greatest bodybuilder, which meant he would need to win the Mr. Olympia. His first attempt was in 1969 when he lost to 3-time champion Sergio Oliva. However, our hero was not discouraged. He trained harder, improved his weaknesses, and tried again the following year. But this time, he easily won the competition, becoming the youngest Mr. Olympia of all time at only 23 years old. A record that still stands today. Suck it, C-Bump. After that, he was trained by Joe Waiter, a great mentor in the sport, and continued competing until winning Mr. Universe 3 more times. After years of dominance on stages, winning Mr. Olympia 7 times, attracting everyone's attention with his irreverent manner and a funny accent, Schwarzenegger began to be invited to promote brands and advertise various types of products. His charisma was so great that Arnold broke the stereotype of the alpha male. He was seen as a big playful guy, where his muscles were just a cover for his funny way of being. This made him very popular in the USA and around the world. It also helped a lot to spread bodybuilding in various countries. Taking advantage of his fame, Arnold remembered his childhood dream and decided to shift his focus from bodybuilding to acting. After this decision and with a lot of persistence, he finally got a role in the movies. He was chosen to act as the main character in Hercules in New York 1970. Years later, Schwarzenegger was called to act in Conan the Barbarian, and the film was a box office success. Curiously, in this film, due to his heavy accent, his voice had to be dubbed to make it easier for Americans to understand.
Like it down there.
Let me be the judge of that. I'm tired of the same old faces, the same old things.
Like it down there.
Let me be the judge of that. I am tired of the same old faces, the same old things.
But his performance was so captivating that he soon had a new role in The Long Goodbye. In this film, he didn't have a problem with the accent, as he had to play a deaf-mute character, winning the Golden Globe New Star of the Year in a Motion Picture Male Award. After 5 years of arriving in the United States, Arnold dedicated himself deeply to his career as an actor and bodybuilder. And with a lot of willpower, he learned English and became the greatest bodybuilder of all time. In 10 years, he already had a university degree and amassed a fortune thanks to his businesses in the construction section, his Hollywood career, and sports. His growth journey is so remarkable that he became not only the father of the world bodybuilding, but also one of the greatest action movie heroes in the world. But our hero always sought new challenges, and even with a successful life, in 2003 he decided to enter politics. And this time he collected another victory, winning the first election as governor of the state of California. And despite having a difficult start when he faced budget crisis, natural disasters, and a lot of political agitation, Arnold overcame differences and carried out important works, especially in defense of the environment. His term was well regarded by residents of California, and in 2007 he was re-elected. From then on, Schwarzenegger resumed his artistic career and acted in several films, including The Expendables, Escape Plan, The Last Stand, Sabotage, and Terminator Genesis. Now we want to hear from you. Were you already familiar with the entire story of our eternal Mr. Olympia, a poor Austrian boy who overcame difficulties and became a living legend? If you like this content, then it's time to give your like to support our work. And if you want to receive the next episode of Real Life Heroes, subscribe to our channel. That's it for now. Until the next episode of The Hero's Journey.